Hey everyone, I'm Tara. Welcome back to my channel. I've talked a lot on here about holistic living and what it means to live a holistic lifestyle, but I haven't really talked about holistic healing. So if you're wondering what the term holistic means in terms of healing, that's what we're going to look at in more detail today. And I'll also give you some tips on how you could start a holistic healing journey. First up, let's quickly review what the term holistic means, because you do really need to understand what holistic means to understand holistic healing. Holistic is used a lot these days, and it may not always be used in the correct way. I think that the term holistic is often confused with the term natural, but this isn't really what holistic means. Holistic really means to look at something in its whole or its entirety. So in relation to us as humans, holistic means looking at our entire being. So what actually makes up our entire being? Well, we have our body and we have our mind, which are the two parts that we often remember, but we also have our soul or our spirit. So that part that makes you you, but also helps you connect to others. I think the confusion surrounding the term holistic may stem from the fact that often the more natural things are what make our body, mind, and soul feel good. So like eating an apple feels better for you than eating a processed bag of potato chips. So yes, in this case, the more natural choice of eating the apple is more holistic, but we need to remember that this isn't what the word really means. We could do all of the natural things, but if we never work on the connection of the mind, body, and soul, we won't experience holistic healing. Holistic healing is when you take into consideration your body, your mind, and your soul when it comes to healing, and you acknowledge and work with the connection of these three parts. This relationship between these three parts of your being is probably more present than you think. So for example, think about how exercising can boost your mental health. You're working out your physical body, but why does your mind feel better after you work out? It's because the two are connected. What impacts the mind will impact the body and vice versa. So like meditation can help decrease pain. Yes, you may be relaxing muscles, which may help decrease pain, but the majority of the pain relief is probably coming from relaxing the mind and the nervous system. So that's just another example of this mind and body connection. But can we take this a step further and think about the soul? What I want you to do when starting your holistic healing journey is to start to think about what makes you feel good on a soul level. Finding spiritual healing and connecting with your spiritual side can also have a positive impact on the mind and body. Just like in the examples I was just giving you, remember, this connection extends to all three parts of your being. And really, anyone can use holistic healing. It can be helpful for physical issues, mental issues, emotional issues, or it could just be used by someone who simply wishes to develop a deeper connection within themselves. But I do want to say, please remember, this type of healing isn't intended to replace medical treatment. It's really to be used in addition to it. So please always do consult with your doctor for proper medical advice and treatment. We are blessed to have the advances in medicine that we have. So using more holistic healing properties really should be used in addition to the modern medicine that we are blessed to have today. Okay, so you want to work on healing holistically, but you don't know where to start. The good news is the first step is simple. It's simply recognizing the connection of your mind, body, and soul. Maybe you've heard of this concept before this video, maybe you've heard it multiple times, but have you taken the time to truly recognize and acknowledge this connection? This is really step one, and it's simple, but it's super important. You need to notice and honor this connection. Know that your mind, body, and soul, spirit, whatever you want to call it, are all working together, and that you can tap into this connection to create positive changes and healing. Once you truly acknowledge this connection, then you can move on to step two. So step two is asking yourself if you're actually taking the time to nurture all parts of your being. So let's break this down into the three parts. First up, we have your body. The body does tend to be the easiest because we're relatively familiar with the concept of taking care of our physical bodies. I think most of us have a general idea of what we need to do to keep the body healthy, right? We need to eat healthy, exercise, get enough sleep, etc. You can break each of these down, and that could be where it gets more complicated to take care of the body, but we do kind of know these things in general. In terms of holistic healing, all of these things are still true and are all still important to focus on. We can't just skip the, I'm going to call them more mundane steps in terms of health. We are human, we need to care for our human bodies. I have a video here on YouTube, one that's on eating holistically, one on exercising holistically, so I'll link those down below if you want to get into more detail on those topics. Next up, we have the mind, and the mind can be a little more challenging to care for, but it's also relatively familiar to most of us, especially in these modern times where taking care of our mental health is talked about much more. I'm sure there's a lot further to go in terms of mental health and our society, but I do think we are moving in the right direction, so yay, that's good. So I do think many of us have at least some familiarity with the things that we can do to take care of our mind. So things like allowing the mind time to rest in meditation, taking time away from the TV or the computer or social media, or doing things like feeding your mind positive thoughts. These are just some common examples of ways you can care for your mind. Maybe you do know the things that are good for your mind, but are you actually doing them? This is something you need to ask yourself when working on holistic healing. So, last up, we have the soul or the spirit, and I know this is where people may feel stuck. How do you care for your soul or your spirit? The soul is kind of a more abstract concept compared to the mind and the body. So I know figuring out spiritual health can definitely be more challenging for people, but the beauty here is there really isn't one answer. Spiritual health is really going to be an exploration of what makes you feel good on a soul level. If you don't know right now, just remember that everything is connected. So by already taking care of your body and your mind, you're going to be taking care of your soul. But I will say, to really experience holistic healing on a deeper level, I do recommend at some point taking this a step further and actively taking time to nurture this part of your being. To nurture your spirit, you need to find what helps you feel connected on a soul level. If you have no idea what this means, my best description of feeling connected on a soul level is when you feel a sense of peace and connection within. For me personally, meditation does help calm my mind, but it really helps me connect with my soul. Meditation's a really great way to work on your soul connection, but it's not the only way to connect with your spiritual side. So if meditation doesn't resonate with you, there are other things you could do. Maybe you feel really connected and drawn to nature, or maybe you feel really revitalized and connected after you spend time with people who are uplifting. Another great way to connect with your spiritual side is to explore things that are more spiritual, like maybe yoga or learning about different spiritual topics. There's really not one answer for working with your spiritual health. It's really going to be about tapping into an exploratory nature to find where you feel this connection. And I really do want to express the importance of spiritual health in holistic healing. You'll be surprised what profound healing can occur just by opening yourself up spiritually. I know I was, and that a lot of my healing came from when I really connected with my spiritual side. I think spirituality is often lost in our modern world because everything's so externally focused, and to connect with our spirituality, we need to really turn our attention inward. Turning our attention inward can help us start to experience this sense of peace and calm within, and then your being can really start to heal. Connecting with your soul really does bring you back into this state of feeling balanced. And I'm not saying this is simple or complex. It's really a personal experience, but I do want you to remember that this is attainable for everyone who does put the work in. And the more that you connect with your spiritual side, the more beauty and fulfillment you will experience in this human life. Okay, let's just do a little recap here on holistic healing in general. So holistic healing means taking time to care for your physical body and physical health, taking time to care for your mind and mental health, and taking time to care for your soul and spiritual health. It's also about working with the interconnection of these three parts of your being to find healing. It's an exploration of all parts of you, human and spiritual. And if you do put the work in, you'll find that holistic healing can be truly transformational. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And you could find more holistic living videos in this playlist right here. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button right below me, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.